Hey guys, what is up? It is me, JMA Grenier, and today I'm going to be doing another book review, but because I do have a lot to say about this book, this may end up being a two-parter one, because this one has so much information, and it has a lot of depths to it and everything, but I will summarize it as best I can. Disclaimer, I did not write this book. All the rights to the book do belong to the authors because it was co-written and the publisher. I do have a lot of good things to say about this book. I've referenced it already a few times on my channel. So the book that I'm talking about is Aurora Rising, book 1 in the Aurora Cycle series. What I wanted to start off with is the plot itself, so I'll just quickly read the description because it is a lot to take in. So this is not the squad you were looking for. The year is 2380, and the graduating candidates of Aurora Academy are being assigned their first missions. Star pupil Tyler Jones is ready to recruit the squad of his dreams, but is stuck with the dregs nobody else wanted. A cocky diplomat, a sociopath, a scientist, a smartass tech whiz, an alien warrior, and a tomboy pilot. Ty's squad isn't even his biggest problem. That'd be Aurora Jalen O'Malley, the girl he just rescued from interdimensional space. Trapped in cryo sleep for 2 centuries, Aurora is out of time and out of her depth, but she could be the catalyst that starts a war millions of years in the making, and Tyler's squad of misfits might just be the last hope for the entire galaxy. Nobody panic. Now, this one is actually highly rated, going into the top 3 of the Sci-Fi reviews, and it's a New York Times bestselling authors of the Illuminae files. So this isn't even the first time that these guys did co-write something. The research these guys must have had to do to write this, man, it had to be insane because it's quite military based. It has great intelligent grammar, and the writers did do their research in the sci-fi aspect for sure. It was a lot of fun to read, and I just loved the franchise overall. As you guys can see, I have the other 2 books here. Romance tropes were bad yet amusing to read. They broke a lot of the rules in this book, but at the same time it was intriguing to read. At one point, you know how you're reading fanfiction and a character, when they realize that they develop feelings for someone that they're supposed to hate, and they're like, oh no. That's in this franchise too. So I gotta say, the characters are overall relatable, they're fun. These books were a definite page turner. I gotta say, I really like the series. The core 7, it is multiple choice and first person present tense, so it was very easy for me to read personally. But you know how there's always that one character in multiple point of views that no one likes to read, unfortunately? Well, this is one of them. There is a character. His name is Cal.
Let me just quickly get his name.
Callus Gilraeth. His chapters were bland, and it just felt like I was reading cardboard. Yeah, it was still his chapters were in a way pretty good to read, so long as he wasn't alone and that he was actually interacting with somebody. But during the moments that he was alone, his character could have been written a bit better. But other than that, there isn't really much to say on the character's part. And I don't want to spoil anything, but there was a very intriguing character that the authors did unfortunately have to kill off. I was very sad about it, but at the same time, it's just you know what, sometimes have to do it if there is a goal behind it. If it means taking this desperation level from here to way up there, then, well, they do have to do it. That's one of the things just unfortunate, because I really liked this character. And as for the bad romantic tropes that I've been talking about. One of the romantic tropes were a little weak for me. One of them was instinctual. It's sci-fi, right? So it is like at least 2 of the core 7 were interstellar species, so like they were from other planets and stuff. With one of them, it was the instinctual thing. It was pretty weak because it's basically like a lifelong thing. You know, like how when penguins mate for life, that's essentially what that is. And I have to say I was pretty disappointed in that, and that's why I call it like a bad romance trope. I just found it a little bit weak. It would have been nice like if they were like developing feelings and stuff like that. I just don't like the instinctual thing. Like if an author happens to like throw it in, I can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't. It's very hard for me to read. And it's unfortunate too, because like the character, well then again, like the character is already a cardboard to read. And when I say that, like, there's a lot to go through, and why I might need to go through quite a bit, and why I might need to make a part 2 of this. And I was just talking about the basic stuff. I didn't even get into what in the haystacks the Aurora Legion squads were. Sildredi Society, there's Betraskin Society, which is quite a bit, and then there's also facts about the Fold, and like it's not even including who are in the squads and why they're so important and everything. So the plot point is what it means by like millions of years in the making. I don't want to spoil it, so I'll just say this. We'll say core 6 plus 1, because Aurora, the one that they're talking about, is the girl on the cover here. Is super adorable. Tyler Jones finds her floating in what is called the Fold. What is the Fold, you ask?
Well, let me tell ya! Like I said, this is gonna be multiple parts probably, but yeah.
The universe, the Fold, risks. It is widely held that the only individual who truly understands the mathematics of the Fold travel is the uber-brainy Dr. Ramasculus Stefar C. Liento III of Valley the Sixth. C. Liento has cloned his brain 3 times and hooked it into a localized bionetwork cable of calculating at 1x flop square 3. And he's still incapable of parsing Fold calculations and ordering breakfast at the same time. It's very complicated, is what I'm saying.
Gee, you don't say.
Luckily, you don't have to understand how you're going from A to B to know what can go wrong along the way.
The way being the galaxy, or the Milky Way.
A few of the risks of Fold travel include hallucinations, Fold storms, long-term cerebral damage, unanticipated gate closure, psychosis. Still, even the distances a ship can cover in the Fold, it's worth weighing up these risks against your guaranteed death from old age if you try to make the journey the old-fashioned way. There's a lot to say about the Fold. The Fold is basically a shortcut, is what it's saying. It does come with like a lot of risks, and for you to actually go from point A to point B, you can go through the gate, but the cost is your mental health and even physical body damage. The Fold gate is basically, it's a fancy way of saying,
Well, not fancy, because it's literally called the Fold.
A wormhole. They're man-made, interstellar species made as well, because like these guys made the Fold gates just so that people can go from one end of the universe to another. But of course, as I just said, it does have a heck of a lot of risks. And as for Fold storm, it's like black matter plus quantum physics plus black holes, and it's just like, it's a whole mess of black matter, like dark matter. And as we can all imagine, that's not fun, but it is like one of the fastest ways to get from like probably Pluto to all the way to the Pegasus constellation. If that's the way to go, then that's the way to go, which is why in this franchise, it's not a plot point, but it is definitely there, which is why in the franchise, they make a point, not repeatedly, but it's enough that it is there, that all the squads are trained from when they are 13 and they graduate at 18, and by the time they're 18 they are assigned a squad. The leader of the squads will pick and choose who they want. They will go on like all these missions. There's a reason why they're 18. They have 7 years of space travel experience. They have 7 years of Battle Galactica experience, all that jazz. So the reason why like it's always so young is because if they continue till after the age of 25, their age can start catching up to them tenfold.
Pun intended.
And they could eventually start developing schizophrenia or like any other mental illness. And like if they already had some form of mental illness on them and they're already over the age of 25, boom, like they may as well just retire to a desk job at that point, because they're not going to be able to travel at all just because of their physical and mental condition. In the third book, not going to spoil anything because this is just the first book, but the Fold does eventually become a main plot point, which is also like why I am also like trying to like really explain it, because like there's a lot that goes on in this franchise. Like this is why I made all of this. And like if you guys remember from my A Frozen Heart video, I only made a couple points in this one. That's it. A lot of fun to read, but it's a lot to take in. Yet at the same time, you can't help but continue to turn the pages. And this all goes back to what I am trying to say, because Tyler Jones, one of the Core 7 and one of the squad leaders, it opens up with him rescuing this girl on the front cover from a Fold storm. And the Fold storm destroys her entire colony. He was just going to send it in and he was just going to leave her. But when a notification comes up on his monitor saying, oh, by the way, there's one survivor, he's like,
do I want to be a good student and go back to the academy? Or do I want to be a good person and do what's right and go save her life?
Turns out, as you guys can probably tell, he decided to do what was right and go into the Fold storm and rescue this poor 17-year-old girl who is in cryosleep, by the way. Her and her fellow colonists are still in cryosleep. She's the only survivor. Like, she was only supposed to be asleep for maybe 2-3 years, not even. Like, she was on her way to this planet called Octavia. It was freshly colonized and everything. They were going through the Fold Gate. They went into a Fold storm, and then boom, this franchise came about. I'll just read just the very first page. Don't click away. Now, this one is from Tyler's point of view. I'm gonna miss the draft. The headfill is disintegrating around me. Black arcs of quantum lightning are melting the ship's hull to slag. My spacesuit is screaming 17 different alarms. The lock on this damn cryogenic pod still won't open, and that's the thought during blaring in my head. Not that I should have stayed in my rack and gotten a good night's sleep. Not that I should have just ignored the damn distress call and headed back to Aurora Academy. Not that this is a really stupid way to die.
This guy's thoughts is my thoughts. I swear, it's actually really funny. This is why I really like this book, guys.
Nope. Looking death right in the face, Tyler Jones, squad leader, first class, is thinking one thing and one thing only. I'm gonna miss the damn draft. I mean, you work your whole life for a thing. It's only natural the thing be important to you. But most rational people would consider getting vaporized inside a derelict spaceship drifting through interdimensional space just a little more important than school. That's all I'm saying. The very first page, shortly after I bought it actually, I didn't even open it to see the first page. What got me hooked on the franchise itself, and I gotta say, it's intelligent writing. Nobody panic! That's what got me. It opens up with him rescuing the stereotypical damsel in distress, but this book was carefully planned and it was carefully done. The plot overall is the plot is that like the core 6 make it to a delivery call to a ship that doesn't have a lot of food left. The ship is full of distilled dravi. These guys are called the Waywalkers. So what these guys are, they're a breed of Sildrathi. They're very spiritual. Like, even though they're all supporting characters, I connected with them because I followed the Red Road, right? They study the zodiac, the constellation, way, the fold, the everything that has to do with space. Tyler's squad, they make a food delivery, a supply delivery to them. And then while they're there, before they even get to that, Tyler and this girl do have like a little chat before they do leave. And while she's still on her cot recovering, she's not even fully recovered. Because like, you know how in science fiction movies or in science fiction books, when you wake up from cryo sleep, oh my god, my body, you just feel really sick. She's not even done recovering. One of the leaders of the Aurora Academy goes in, they chat with her, the Betrascan lady, leaves a note with Aurora telling her which ship to get on, going back to Tyler and his squad. As you guys can probably tell, that is the ship she goes on. Aurora is like getting like all these visions too, and she's like,
oh my goodness, like what is going on?
Like there's a lot to say here. This video is already getting a little long, so I will leave this for the time being. If you guys want part 2 on this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the little bell to be notified when I upload part 2, which is probably going to end up like being uploaded probably around the same day or later on in the same day. And don't forget to hit the like for this video if you want more of my content. And you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in a little bit.